Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Regional Vice President of Europe, Justin Wilson.
Listen, I'm going to just really quickly introduce our speaker because I want to make sure he has plenty of time to share with you what he has. I've worked with Alan from the very beginning when he started with ASEA, and I'll tell you, the day that we met him, I knew that this was an incredible individual. Really excited to introduce him because he has some wonderful things to share with you today. He is a triple diamond executive. He is the chairman of our advisory council. So please help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Alan Noble.
Okay, we got all the money-hungry people here. Doesn't matter about helping people, let's just make money. And they picked me for the job. Hey, this is fantastic, guys. I got a lot of information to go through, but before I get started, I just got to ask you, wasn't that gala amazing last night? Absolutely phenomenal. Just class, just classy company. What about the information Kurt shared this morning? Maybe got a whole new, bigger, broader vision for Renew 28. Maybe it's just not the little sister of ASEA anymore. Maybe it's much bigger than we thought it was. Very, very exciting. So what I want to do today is we've had some really exciting enhancements in our compensation plan. And I want to go through some of these things. I want to talk about maximizing your earning potential through the ASEA compensation plan, given the enhancements that were announced yesterday by Jeremy and also by Justin. And when it comes to maximizing our earning potential, anytime I give a compensation plan training, I almost do a disclaimer at the very, very beginning of it. Because the success puzzle, your earnings, what ends up in your smart wallet every single Thursday, is not just based on the compensation plan. There's many pieces to the success puzzle. There's your hunger. How badly do you want it? There's your belief and your conviction. How deeply do you believe in the value that you're bringing to the marketplace? And again, we got an injection of conviction and belief with Renew 28 this morning. What about your work ethic and your discipline? Undisciplined people really never get around to achieving great things in life. It takes work ethic. It takes discipline. It's not work marketing, not sit on the couch eating Doritos marketing, okay? Your attitude, your mindset. We often say that your attitude is the rock upon which we build a business. The attitude of gratitude. The attitude of positive expectations. The attitudes of self-employment, self-motivation, self-responsibility, self-functioning. 90% of people who come into ASEA have never been self-employed. And they've got to develop these attitudes and mindsets. Your skill sets and habits, who to talk to, what to say, what tools to point them to, the follow-ups, how to get your new associate started. And Big Al gave, I think, just an amazing prospecting presentation on those three powerful phrases to help you, give you ideas of how to develop this skill set of talking to people and opening the conversation to our technology. Then there's your personal development. You've got your desire, how badly do you want it, your belief and your conviction. But how much do you believe you deserve? There's a lot of people come into a business like this with big goals, but deep down they don't believe they deserve it. That's a whole other subject. But all of these are parts of the success puzzle. And the compensation plan is really what delivers the income when we get all these other things correct. And so although this is all about compensation plan, you've got to understand it's one piece of the success puzzle. Does that make sense? I also want to just briefly touch on change. Change is a natural and necessary part of business. We went through some change. And as in my very privileged and honored position as chairman of the advisory council, I got to really be involved in that process of change and to see how the company went through the process. And I got to tell you, just an amazing, amazing group of people who really had the interests of every single associate That was top of their priority. You. And so we're all on this journey, and we've chosen ASEA to help us in this journey. Point A is where we are. Point B is where we want to get to. Sometimes we're driven from point A through desperation, and we're inspired to reach point B through inspiration. But we're on a journey. The company is also on a journey, and it's from point A, started our official launch September 2010, to point B. And just like a plane's off course 90% of the time. I don't think ASEA's off course 90% of the time. But change is a natural and necessary part of every business if you want to land at the right point B. What point B are we aiming for? Let me give you some things that I think about. A billion-dollar legacy company, that's part of our point B. Impacting millions of people's lives with this astonishing, never-seen-before redox signaling technology, that's part of our point B. And giving financial freedom to thousands of people around the world, that's part of our point B. And it's an important destination, so we have to be willing for change. It's natural and it's necessary. I also want to get into just a little bit of some comp plan philosophies. As we go through these enhancements, as an associate, you've got to be aware a compensation plan is not just a random set of percentages and numbers thrown against a wall. There's philosophies behind it. One of them is balance. How do you spread the money from the front end, the early ranks, to the middle ranks, to the back end, the wealth component? If you're too back end heavy, then everybody getting started is starving. If you're too front end heavy, you can't attract the leadership that actually builds the business. And so it has to be a balancing act between the front end and the back end. We've got to reward good business building behavior. Now, what do we mean by that? Recruiting, enrollments, ongoing ongoing enrollments, no matter what your rank, is a good business building behavior. We wanted to reward that. Giving up sponsorship to somebody in your team so you can complete a part of comp plan is not good business building. Not good business building behavior. Converting preferred customers to stagnant associates is not good business building behavior. Some of you are picking up what I'm getting at. We wanted to reward good business building behavior. We also wanted to reward sustainable volume because it creates sustainable rank that creates sustainable checks. Who wants sustainable checks? Now, I want to talk briefly about rank. See, all of these philosophies come together as you begin to look at this compensation plan. And so Justin shared this slide earlier. And it's our journey. As we get started, we become an associate. And we're at the foot of the mountain. I want you to think of achieving your goals in ASEA. Progressing through the ranks is a little bit like climbing an icy slope. Do you ever feel like you're slipping and sliding a little bit? Now, if you're climbing an icy slope, you've got to make sure you've got those spikes on your shoes. I'm not sure the technical word for them. And you might even want a few ice picks to make sure you got plenty of grip as you're going up that slope. You got to have some tread. You got to have some traction. And the way we do that is the ranks. The ranks are these points of tread, these points of traction, these markers on our journey that allow us to make this journey. You know, bronze, silver, gold, and we climb these. And in order to get the traction, in order to do that, we've got to put teeth in the ranks. We've got to give reward to the ranks. And as we stepped back and we looked at our compensation plan, there was so much of it that was working incredibly well. I mean, look around you. You know, later on, we're going to have the $1 Million Earners Club. Look around you. We've got tremendous success with this compensation plan. But there was one area that we felt we could absolutely improve, and that was put more teeth in the ranks. So you had more tread, more traction as you made this journey to whatever that is for you, if it's triple diamond or whatever it is, whatever your goal is. And so you're going to see this as a recurring theme, rewarding good business building behavior and putting teeth and reward and purpose and meaning into the ranks. So, the compensation plan. We've got 7 pillars of compensation plan. I've kind of squished the retail customer and preferred customer into one. The fast start, the director's bonus, team commissions, executive momentum pull, and check match. Now, I'm going to really talk about the middle four. There's been no change to the customer program. That's the same. And there's been no change to the check match program. That's the same. There's been no change to binary team commissions, the one in blue, but I got to kind of touch on that in order to make sure we fully understand the executive momentum pull and the fast start. So let's talk first of all about the director's bonus. Now, I am passionate about this new piece of compensation plan, and I'll explain why I'll explain why in just a little bit. But let me first of all actually explain what it is. So to become a director, it's the first step in the compensation plan. When we join, we all get a position in the compensation plan. It comes with a left leg and a right leg. And our goal is to build 2 sales teams. Now, we got some terminology. Let's say you were sponsored on your sponsor's left team. That would make your left team your team leg and your right team your personal leg, okay? To become a director, it's your first goal to sponsor 2 associates into the business, 2 active associates, not just a $40 enrollment, but with at least 1, 2, 4, 8 cases of product. Active. The lights are on in their business. 1 active associate on the left, 1 active associate on the right. Now, in this example, because we like to place your first associate on the team leg, you sponsor Anne. Anne will go on the left, the team leg. Bob will go on the right. You have now accomplished the first step, the first goal, the first step up that mountain. You are now a director. You are now binary qualified and eligible for commissions in the team commission binary part of our comp plan. Now, here's what's exciting. We've now said, if you do this within 14 days, we're going to give you a $50 director's bonus. Now, this is incredibly exciting. And I'll explain why in just a second. I want to first of all clarify this 14 days. I want to make sure everybody understands it's not really 14 days. Again, our company tends to under-promise and over-deliver. And so if you signed up an associate on a Wednesday, they would have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is the end of the commission week, and then 2 full commission weeks. So what is that? 17 days if you count the Wednesday? Okay? And so if they register on a Friday, they got the end till end of close Friday, and then 2 full commission weeks. Okay? Monday, end of close to Friday, then 2 full commission weeks. So it's at least 14 days. So one of the first things you want to do with your brand new associate as you sponsor them into the business is you want to get out the day planner and said, hey, here's your day of sponsorship. Let's just figure out where their 14 day, figure out that Friday that completes 2 full cycles. Get it on the day planner. See, that is a visual target. And this is one of the exciting things about this bonus. It gives us a very clear target. Now, do you think when you see a clear target, you're more likely to hit it? I'm going to say you're probably about 30% more likely to hit it in this case. And I can tell you that number because we had something similar to this before, and we saw a 30% increase in people hitting director in 14 days. How would you like 30% more directors coming through your business in 14 days? Now, when you begin to understand the power of 2, you should be hipping and hollering and so excited. This is the basic activity driver that literally can fuel all the way up to Triple Diamond. It's such an important part. And I don't believe it's the $50. I really don't believe the shift that we see in behavior is because of the $50. It's because you're being told what to do. You see, a compensation plan should instruct you what to do. See, it's a lot more different if I say, hey, Nancy, welcome to ASEA. You know what I think would be a great idea? You know, our first step in the comp plan is director. And we don't really give you anything for that, but you'll get a certificate. But we think it'd be really cool if you could do that in 14 days. Well, why 14 days? Well, I just think it'd be really cool. But what if I can point to the instruction manual of how to build your business, the compensation plan, and say, hey, Nancy, we got a really cool bonus to get you started, to get you really focused and out of the gate. It's a $50 bonus if you can actually find your first 2 team members, the first 2 people who get this in your first 14 days. You want to go for it? And let's get out your day planner. Let's write out when that time out. So we got a really clear activity target. Now, not everybody's going to want to do it. Some people are going to find that a little bit too pushy. But in your new associate meeting, when you've signed up, remember your job as a sponsor is a coach. And you got to figure out, are you coaching a weekend warrior or are you coaching the next Brie Larson? You know, he's going to the Olympics. Who are you coaching? If you coach the weekend warrior like an Olympian, you're going to run them away. But if you coach the Olympian like a weekend warrior, they're going to be very disappointed with your coaching and mentoring. But you're going to find all that out, okay? And through that conversation, you're going to see how serious people are. And based on that, you get out the comp plan and say, hey, here's the first step. Now, guys, this creates amazing focus. Where the focus goes, the energy flows. That's why you're going to see at least a 30% increase in your directors, okay? Now, to understand this, you got to understand the power of two. This two can seem very insignificant when you're trying to build an organization of thousands. You're going, Alan, you're getting excited about two. But let's look at it. So the question is, can you find two people who catch the vision of this powerful anti-aging technology, would like to earn some additional income, and can they do it in their first 14 days? And so here's you, and we've got Ann and Bob. Now the next step is we want to ask the next question is, well, can you teach these two to also go reach two in the first 14 days? And Ann and Bob are going to sign up Kathy, David, Elizabeth, and Fred. Now, this concept of teaching two to reach two is the basic building block of your business. You're building a distribution network. Do you know if everybody did this, Paul, we'd all be millionaires? Well, you already know that. You're in the club. If everybody did this, we'd all be millionaires. By the way, big congratulations to Paul Tyra for the I Am ASEA award. So richly deserved. Congratulations, Paul. Anything to take a break from comp plan. So let's look at the power of two. Now, many of you have seen this. The penny doubled. Who knows the penny doubled story? Okay, it's worth repetition, but there's a lot of people that haven't seemed to have heard it before. There's incredible power in this idea of finding your first two people and teaching those two to reach two. And it can be best demonstrated by a simple little penny doubled. Before I get started, let me tell you my favorite Scots joke. Any Scotsmen in the... Oh, dear. It doesn't stop me anyway. My favorite Scots joke. You know how copper wire was invented? Two Scotsmen fighting over a penny. Okay. The penny doubled, the little innocent, insignificant little penny that we just don't even bother picking up anymore. It probably won't even exist much longer. Well, which would you prefer? A penny doubled every single day, two finding two, the power of duplication, or $10,000 right now? Who'd go for the 10 grand right now? Who'd go for the insignificant little penny doubled? See, there's power in duplication, guys. Week 1, penny. Day 2, 2 pennies. Day 3, 4 pennies. 8 pennies, 16 pennies, 32 pennies. You're just over $50 by the end of week 1. Week 2, it's still not that exciting. $81 by the end of week 2. But look at week 3. You're over $10,000 in week 3. And you still have a whole week to go. By the end of week 4, you're over $500,000. Day 29, 1.28. Day 30, you're at $2.5 million. That's the power of two. That's the power of two. That's the power of finding your first two people in 14 days and teaching those two to go do the same. That's the power of the director's bonus. Now, I could put this into the binary compensation plan, and you could see how the numbers pan out. If you actually did this by like 12 repetitions, you've maxed out the binary part of the compensation plan. But don't underestimate the significance of this director's bonus. I got to tell you, as we started working through this, and this idea of putting the director's bonus into this compensation plan, I got so excited. Do not underestimate the power of the $50 director's bonus. It creates focus and purpose for your brand new associate. Okay, I got to get into some binary basics quickly. And some of you, how many people feel they've got a really good grasp of the binary? How many people are still a little hazy, confused? It's going to determine how fast I go. Okay, there's enough confused people. So here's you. You've been sponsored. And this is the story so far. You were sponsored on the left of your sponsor. So your left is your team leg and your right is your personal leg. And so Anne is on your left and Bob is on your right. Now Anne has also got a left and right leg. And Anne's left leg will be her team leg. So Anne's going to sponsor Joe. Places him on the team leg. Then Anne sponsors Jim. And if they do that if Anne does that in the first 14 days, guess what? She gets $50 director's bonus, okay? She's now a director. You continue to sponsor. Now there's a clue here. One of the dangers of the binary is it has the potential to encourage laziness. People think, well, I just got my 2. I'm just going to sit here and sit like mother hen waiting for them to hatch, okay? You may have sponsored the wrong 2. Or maybe one was right and one just wasn't a good fit for the business. They're not moving forward. You keep sponsoring, and this is how you do it in a binary. You don't start a third leg. You keep spillover. It's team building effect. And you'll notice that Kurt on your left, you place Kurt on your left and Dave on the right. Kurt spills over below Joe and Anne. And so on and so forth. Anne continues to sponsor. Anne's team continues to bid. Tim sponsors. Now, Tim was sponsored on the right of Anne. So Jim's right leg is his team leg. So his first person will go on the right, which is Tim. You continue to sponsor, and now your sponsor has sponsored somebody on this leg, and they will fall into and spill over down the bottom of the left leg. That is the team leg. A little warning here, binary means 2, not 1. And it is your responsibility to build 2 legs. Spillover should not be part of your business building strategy. It's a privilege, not a right. Most of your diamond leaders have built 2 legs, okay? So let's get into some qualifications. What does it mean? This is really important to understand the power with a fast start. What does it mean to be a Director 300? Well, you've got to have a couple of things. You've got to be active with at least 100 points every 5 weeks. Simplest way to do that, get on a 1-case auto ship, okay? You must be binary qualified. In other words, you must maintain that director position. 1 active associate you've personally sponsored on the left, 1 active personally sponsored associate on the right. You also must then have 300 in volume in your smaller leg. So every Friday, the computer's going to search all the way down the legs. Actually, it happens on a Tuesday of the following week. It's going to search all the way down the legs, and it's going to find 300 on the left, 300 on the right. Banked volume also counts. And when you've got 300 in volume in your lesser leg, congratulations, you're a Director 300. Now, 700 is almost identical. The only difference is you got to have 700 points on your smaller leg. And so if you're fairly new in the business, you really want to get familiar with the Director 300, and the Director 700 positions. They're going to be really important in the first few months of you building this business, okay? Now, one more thing to talk about this, the compensation plan. We are really a hybrid. We are both a binary compensation plan that I've just explained to you, as well as a what we call a unilevel or a sponsorship tree. And you're not building them separately. They're both happening at the same time. Let me show you. You sponsored Anne, Bob, Kurt, Dave, Elizabeth, and Fred. And in the personal sponsorship tree, they're all on your level 1. This is all happening at the same time. You don't have to do anything. The back office takes care of it for you. Anne sponsored Jim, Joe, and Jane. Jane, Jim, and Joe. And you'll notice that they are on the 2nd level of your business, the 1st level of Anne's business. And I think we had Jim sponsoring Tim on the 3rd level. Now let me show you a couple of things. You'll notice that Spillover Sam, who appeared in your binary tree, is non-existent in your sponsorship tree. He doesn't exist because you didn't have a role in personally sponsoring, or it didn't come through your personal sponsorship. You will notice that you sponsored Ed, and Ed spilled over into Jane, Kurt's, Joe's, and Anne's binary tree, but does not show up in their sponsorship tree. Okay, he's frontline to you. And so we've got both of these trees going on at exactly the same time, the binary tree and the sponsorship tree. Now, the director's bonus and the binary team commissions work 100% through the binary tree qualifications. The sponsorship tree is what fuels the fast start bonus, the executive momentum pool, and the check match. But here's what you got to understand. The bonuses, the fast start bonuses, the executive momentum pool, and the check match, these bonuses are based upon volume that you are accumulating in your sponsorship tree, but they are based upon rank that you earn in the binary tree. Does that make sense to everybody? So the fast start bonuses, the executive momentum pool, and the check match, the income you earn is all earned on the volume that is created in your sponsorship tree, but it is also related to the rank that you have achieved in the binary tree. So what you've done in the sponsorship tree determines your check, but also based upon a rank that is achieved in the binary tree. Okay? So let's talk about the fast start bonus. Now, I'm excited about this. To me, this and the director's bonus, this is what fuels everything that flows on up to the other ranks. So the fast start bonus, you're familiar with a lot of this. Much of this looks very, very similar to what we had. You've got the enroller. Then instead of the sponsor of the sponsor, and the sponsor, we've got the sponsor, the first upline director 300, and the first upline director 700. And the numbers are what we're used to. So take a 1 case, or let's take a 4 case. You can see the enroller gets $80, the first upline 300 gets $40, and the first upline 700 gets $20. Let's do a little visual on this. You saw this yesterday with Justin. You enroll an associate with with 4 cases. You're going to earn the $80 bonus. The computer's going to search for the next director 300. They'll earn a $40 bonus. The computer's going to search up, don't forget, it's searching up the sponsorship tree, but it's using binary rank. But it's searching up the sponsorship tree for the next director 700, and they're going to get $20. Now, the beautiful thing about this, and there's power in what I'm about to tell you here. You're now a director 700. Now, we've really put some teeth in the ranks at 700 and 300. Because now if you sponsor someone with 4 cases, just yesterday you would have got $80. But today as a director 700, you're getting $80. You're getting also the director 300 bonus and the $20 director 700 bonus. A total of $140. Let me just go back to that. A total of $140 compared to $80. Guys, you've just all got a huge pay raise in your sponsoring activity. If you're not yet at it, whose next target is director 300? If you're a director and your next goal is 300, that's where you want to get to. And we've given you a very lucrative reason to be there because you're going to earn a whole lot more in your own sponsoring. If you're not a director 700 yet, you want to get there so you can earn all of that sponsorship fast start money. And what this has done, guys, you know, in our industry, there's a tendency for people to get started in the business. They sponsor a few people, they get binary qualified, maybe sponsor a couple of others, and then they get a director 300 or a director 700 or even more so even at bronze. And we kind of called bronze the first executive management position. Well, management's a bad word in our business. We like to use the word leadership, not management. And unfortunately, people sometimes get into management mode and they take off their sponsoring hat and they just manage. You've seen that, Torsten, haven't you? They just love to manage. Well, guess what? We have now said, hey, that's not a very good idea, because let me give you the analogy. See, stopping sponsoring at too early a stage is you're piloting a plane. You're piloting a plane. By the way, wasn't that comedian last night hilarious? Piloting a hot air balloon. Although, did he have an uncanny resemblance to Kurt Richards? Really funny. So anyway, you're piloting a plane, okay? And what if you're only 200 feet off the air, 200 feet off the ground, And the pilot says, hey, take off your seatbelts, relax. I'm taking the pressure off the throttle. That's it. You'd be panicking a little bit. We're only 200 feet off the ground. I thought we were supposed to be cruising at 28 or 32,000 feet. That's when they ding the seatbelt. Stopping sponsoring too early is just like that, guys. And if things go wrong, you don't have a whole lot of time for correction. What this bonus does is it encourages you to continue sponsoring way past Director 300, Director 700, Bronze. Remember, this is just as relevant if you're a Bronze, a Silver, a Gold, a Platinum, a Diamond, a Double Diamond, a Triple Diamond. When I get back to work Monday, the 4th of May, guess what? I'm going straight after all of these enrollment bonuses. Getting them all. It encourages activity at every rank from 300, 700, and beyond. And that is critical. That is a good business building activity. Now, let me share something else with you. I want you to see, multi-level marketing is a multi-dimensional business. You got to think in multi-dimensional terms. So you've earned a bonus in sponsoring Bob into the business here. But I want you now to think about what you're going to earn as Bob actually builds a Director 300 organization. So a Director 300 is 300 and lesser volume every week, which if you multiply it out is about 1,200 to 1,500 volume every month. If you assume each associate's using one case of product a month, you would need approximately 30 people on each side, or sorry, 15 on each side. A team of about 30 people, you could say that, remember, this is not a science, but approximately a Director 300 could be represented by a team of 30 people. So you sponsored Bob into the business, and you got your fast starts for that. But let's say you're a 300. What do you earn as Bob builds his organization to become a 300? Well, if everybody was on a one case, you'd have approximately 30 associates, and you'd be getting a $10 override on all of that activity. It's $300. What about our most popular 4 case? You're earning $1,200 in fast start commissions as a 300 in helping Bob become a Director 300. Now, once Bob's a Director 300, he's going to be getting the 300 override on all of the enrollments going on in his team. So you want to make sure that you're continuing to grow and stepping it up to becoming a Director 700. And again, this is not a science. It doesn't always work like this in the real world, but you could say it's approximately a Director 300 on your left and a Director 300 on your right. That would approximately give you that rank of Director 700. There's going to be bits and pieces and customers and all sorts of things. So let's look at it again about creating Director 300s. See, again, I want you to focus. Director and Director 300s have become very important ranks in our company. And I believe they're emotionally doable ranks for everybody that comes on board. And so we've created this very clear, very concise, very important target that we are rewarding in a very lucrative way. So now you're a Director 700 or above. Again, this is applicable to bronzes, silvers, golds, etc. And now building Bob as a Director 300, you're getting an extra little bonus. It's a little bit more. 30 of his team coming through, you're picking up the 300 and the 700, $450. As a Director 700, if everybody in Bob's team comes on board at the 4 cases, you're looking at about $1,800. Well, remember, you have now an incentive to continue to recruit, to continue to sponsor. It's even more lucrative than ever before to you to continue to sponsor. So what if you went and built 5 Director 300 legs and you picked up all these overrides on every single new Director 300 group that you were creating? 1 case, $2,250. If everybody did 4 cases, it's almost $10,000 in fast start overrides in creating these 300s. Do you see how lucrative your recruiting and your team building has become? And these are good business building activities. They build solid volume that creates solid ranks, that creates solid checks. So my question is, are you a player or a spectator? You see, we've formulated this fast start to really reward the players. Not just somebody who sponsored someone and then didn't do anything, but they were still picking up overrides, but they weren't really involved. We've put the teeth into the ranks. This is where the players live. Director 300, Director 700. They're moving their business forward. And so we're rewarding sustainable early rank, we're rewarding team building, and rewarding continued personal enrollments of Director 300. I am so stinking excited about our new Fast Start bonus program. Okay, this has not changed. This is the same as we've always been used to. Team commissions. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. You're building your volume. You've got these Director 300s coming up, Director 700s coming up. They understand the importance of being at these ranks, and they continue to build volume. And you got 3,000 volume on the left, 2,500 volume on the right. The computer's going to search and pay 10% on the smaller leg, $250 in team commissions. It's beautiful because it searches to infinite depth. Levels don't matter in team commissions. So you're going to search all the way down your left, all the way down your right. The right in this example is going to set to 0, and the left, you'll have $500 banked for the next commission period. This part of the compensation plan can build up to $10,000 a week in income. Now, I want to explain bronze. We've explained 300, we've explained 700. I want to explain bronze. A little bit different. You got to make sure you're active with 200 points in volume. Now, you can do that with your own personal purchases. You can do it, we recommend it on AutoShip, but also your customers, they also appear in your personal volume. So 2 preferred customers, 50 points, that's 100 points. So your 1 case AutoShip and 2 preferred customers on 1 case each would give you 200 points. You must be binary qualified, of course, and you've got to achieve 2,000 in lesser leg volume in the lesser leg, and of course it includes spillover. So computer searches, looks for 2,000 in volume in the lesser leg in a commission week. But there's one other thing you got to be aware of, and that is you've got to have 2 sponsorship lines with a Director 300 in each. See, it's all tying together. We've created a really important reason for somebody to be at a Director 300 position. Is that going to make it easier for you to continue to develop your bronze organization? So let's do a quick look at Director 300. These are in sponsorship lines. Remember the sponsorship tree? Your family tree. So they can be on separate binary legs. Someone in Ann's business or Bob's business can be a Director 300. They can be on the same binary leg. Who do we have here? Ann, Bob, Kurt, Dave. We've got Bob and Dave, both Director 300s. They don't have to be personally sponsored, but they do have to be in your personally sponsored tree. So you personally sponsored Ann, who sponsored Jim, who sponsored Tim. That's in your personally sponsored tree. So that's okay if Tim's a Director 300 and we got Bob. What you can't have is spillover doesn't count. Remember spillover Sam that your sponsor sponsored? If spillover Sam's a Director 300, that doesn't count. It's not in your personally sponsored tree. And they cannot be in the same line of sponsorship. So Ann is a Director 300 and Tim's a Director 300. Well, that's just one family tree. That's one line of sponsorship through Ann. Has to be 2 lines of personal sponsorship. So now that we understand bronze, let's continue that and make sure we understand bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, because this is very important as we get into the executive ranks. You need 200 in personal volume. You need 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. You can see the numbers grow as you go up the ranks. And then you need a bigger number of Director 300, starting with 2 at bronze, 3, 4, 5, up to platinum. The concept stays the same. It's just your organization grows and expands. Okay. Who's excited about the executive momentum pools? Who understands the executive momentum pools? Oh, I was hoping for a louder cheer and then I could go get some lunch. We'll go through it quickly. Some of this is going to be repetition, but I am going to point out some things to really make it clear how to maximize your check in the momentum pools. But just make sure we're clear. Repetition's the mother of skill. Did I say that right? The executive momentum pool, 3% of your global sales. To get into the pool, you've got to qualify at bronze 2 times consecutively. Okay? 2 times consecutively. And that we did that so that somebody wouldn't accidentally stumble into bronze because they had a good week. Okay? We don't want you getting into these pools unless you've got a fairly sustainable bronze business, okay? Because once the clock starts ticking, once you've unlocked it, your pool is now operational. And you've got 12 weeks in that pool. Now, the second week that you qualify as a bronze is your first week in the pool. And the same concept continues through this entire program. So bronze, the pool is 12 weeks. Silver, the pool is 16 weeks. Gold, the pool is 20 weeks. And platinum, the pool is 24 weeks. The bigger the rank, the more you're going to earn, okay? Because of the effort you're putting forth. Now, how we calculate it, we're going back to the personal sponsorship tree. And there's a couple of variables that are going to determine how much you earn in the pool. We talk about PGV3. This is your own personal purchases, your front level, your level 1, people that you personally sponsored, level 2, people they sponsored, level 3, people they sponsored. Remember the personal sponsorship tree. But we're also basing it upon the rank that you have achieved in the binary compensation plan. So bronze, 50% of PGV3, silver 60, gold 75, and platinum 100. Let's do a quick quiz. Bronze. A bronze with 2,000 in personal group volume, 3 levels down, how many shares would they earn? 1,000. Good job. A gold with 6,000 in personal group volume 3, how many shares would they earn? Oh, it's tricky, 75%. Everybody's getting out their smartphones. 4,500 shares in the pool. So it's a fairly simple calculation, okay? Now let's run through how it actually works. Your bronze, 2 times you open up the pool. Week 1, that would be your second week of bronze qualification. Now, if you hit Director 700 the next week, you're not quite stable enough yet. You're not going to get paid in the bronze pool, but you're not excommunicated from the bronze pool, okay? You're still there. And so the next week you get bronze, you're still earning these pools. Now, then something interesting happens. You become silver. Your business is growing. You're focusing on teaching 2 to reach 2. You're focusing on that really important first step, that activity driver that fuels Director 300s that are getting rewarded for their activity. They're fueling Director 700s that are getting rewarded for their activity. Team building, continued sponsorship. This is the engine that I've been explaining that drives these executive ranks. And so with new momentum, new focus, new activity, you might just hit silver. If you hit silver 2 times, the second time you're opening up the pool for silver. And if you've opened up the silver pool while you're still in the bronze pool, you can earn the silver pool percentage, which is 60%, even while you're in the bronze pool. We wanted to make sure, as this was put together, that we weren't stopping people's businesses from growing. It's like, well, I don't want to become silver yet because I want to get my full 12 weeks in the pool. And we want to make sure, see, we want to reward good business building behavior, which is advancement in stable, sustainable rank. And this pool does this exactly. Does exactly. A lot of thought went into this, guys. Amazing, amazing program. And so you can see now in this example, you're in the silver pool, and for some reason your business took a little dip and you hit bronze. Well, you're not in the bronze pool anymore, you're in the silver pool, so guess what? You're not going to be able to earn a bonus that particular week. But again, you can get right back to silver again. Now, how to maximize your earnings. There's several ways that you can maximize your earnings. Number 1 is the obvious way. See that Director 300 in your bronze pool? Really try and build sustainable rank so that when you enter the bronze pool, you stay there. And you get 12 out of your 12 weeks. Not 11, not 10, not 9, not 5, but you're getting all 12 weeks in the pool. Sustainable rank. Advance to the next rank pool in a sustainable manner, not spiked, but sustainable, so that you can earn a higher percentage even when you're in the previous pool. Increase your PGV3. This is one of the most powerful ways to increase your revenue out of this pool because you're increasing the number of shares. Remember the calculation? What's the best way to increase your PGV3? Sponsor. You see, your PGV3 isn't a lot of depth. It's only 3 levels. So the best way to impact your PGV3, go wide. Personal sponsorship. Have we rewarded you to continue to personally sponsor? You bet we have. See how it all ties together? Now, there's one other way you can increase your pool earnings, and that's our fast track program, which I'm going to cover very quickly. I'm going to do this, and then I've got just a couple of very quick philosophies to share with you, and then we're out of here. The fast track program, do you remember the power of the target of the director's bonus? When I was saying to Nancy, you know, hey, if the comp plan instructs us to do this in 14 days, more likely we're going to do it than me just kind of saying, well, it would be a good idea if you could. And so we've put another deadline, a timeline, a track to run on into this compensation plan where if you hit these ranks in a certain time schedule, within a certain time, we're going to give you a 50% multiplier on your check, 1.5 shares, or a multiplier of 1.5. And so here's the deadlines, okay? Now I'm going to break them down into a little bit of detail. Let's say you achieve bronze, week 26 from enrollment. It's almost 6 months, guys. I had to convert these weeks into months so I could really kind of get clear on the time schedule. Weeks don't really mean a whole lot to me unless it's 52 weeks. And I still have to think of it in terms of months and years. And so here's the bronze deadline. You hit bronze 2 consecutive times. You're going to find part of that time is going to be in the fast track and part of it's not. Well, I want to go through a quick calculation so you fully understand it. How many weeks are you getting the 1.5 and how many weeks are you not? So let's just go through it. Weeks from enrollment. Week 26, you hit your first week of bronze. Week 27, you hit your second week of bronze. You open up the bronze pool. That is your first week in the pool. And you can see week 28, 30, 31, 32, 34, there's your 8 weeks in a pool. You're going to get 1.5 multiplier for those 8 weeks. And then the other 4 weeks will be at the regular 50% of PGV3. Does that make sense to everybody? I thought what might be handy is to say, well, what does it take then to get all of the shares in the pool for those high achievers, for the Torstens in the world? I want it all. I want it all. Well, you got to be hitting bronze, sustainable 22 weeks from enrollment. But see, now you've got a target. So you remember that new associate interview that you're going to have when you get started to find out what kind of coach you want to be? Is it what kind of associate? Are they a weekend warrior? Or do they want to go all the way to the Olympics? See, you can start to jot these down. Hey, your first goal is director. But now in your mind, you're jotting out 22 weeks. Hey, you want to fast track this? You really want to be aiming for the 22 weeks, just about 5 months. You want to get the day planners out. You want to get these targets written in red so it's visible, so it's there, so it's the front of the mind. And here's something just to help you. I worked out what the deadlines were for all the pools. And so you got about 5 months for bronze, you got about 6 months for silver, almost 8 months for gold, and just shy of a year for platinum. But you see, now you've got a track to run on. And it's not just you saying this would be a good idea. The compensation plan is the manual. It's giving you the instruction of how to run your business. Okay? Now remember, this isn't for everybody. If some of you are going, hey, this is too much for me, that's okay. We wanted to give something a little extra. Remember the players and the spectators? We got some people that are out there kicking the ball very, very hard. They're sweating on the pitch. And we want to make sure there's a reward in the compensation plan for helping them. Okay? Last thing. I want to leave you with just some very, very quick concepts and ideas that might help you. What we've talked about is ranks, putting teeth in the ranks that help you make that climb, give you the tread and the traction as you're building your business in this compensation plan. I've talked about the incredible power of deadlines because it creates a focus, it creates a target. You can't hit a target if you don't know it exists. You can't hit a target if you can't see it. And we've created some very specific targets, some very specific deadlines to help you move your business along. The director's bonus, the fast track, but there's also the grandfathering. And I don't have enough time to get into it. We've got flyers on it and all sorts of things. But you should all be sitting down with your sponsor, your upline support, your mentor, and going, okay, where am I now? Am I hitting my lifetime rank? If I'm a director, if I'm a bronze, but my lifetime rank is silver, I've got till a certain period of time, to the end of the year, to get back to silver. Or maybe your business has dropped and you were at gold, but your lifetime rank is gold, but you're now paid at bronze, whatever's happened in your life. And you should be setting yourself some deadlines, getting out the day planner, saying, okay, I've got to be at this rank by this time to participate in the pool in the grandfathering program. So make sure you pick up the documents and really understand and write it out for yourself so you have a clear target, this deadline. The second thing is the power of enrollments. And we've talked about this. Justin made it very, very clear that the associates that continue to enroll have bigger businesses and bigger checks. It's that simple. I loved what Justin said. We've got to have an enrollment culture, a culture of enrollments. And think about it. We've encouraged this now with lucrative fast starts. We've encouraged it by giving you an opportunity to increase your PGV to get bigger shares in the momentum pools. And guys, if you want to start, come out of this convention, Monday, May 4th, you get home, you're ready to go. If you want momentum in your group momentum starts with personal momentum. Never look up, never look down, look in the mirror. If it's to be, it's up to me. You want momentum in your group? Get momentum in your own personal activity. And we're rewarding this now in the lucrative enrollments, creating this enrollment culture. The very last thing I want to share with you, and for many this is a big aha moment, and it's the power in moving on. This is kind of a sad one, guys. But my very first mentors in the business, John and Mildred McMinn, John McMinn said to me one time, Alan, the team that takes you to bronze may not be the team that takes you to gold. Do you remember the old Pony Express? If they've got to deliver that mail a whole long distance, they're going to have to change horse. And what happens sometimes in the business, we get excited, we go director, we build a team, we're director 300, we continue to expand, we develop 300s, we're director 700, and we think, guys, this is it, this is our team. We start having great conversations, we have convention lunches with them, we're on the phone, we're on our Zoom team calls, we're like just one big happy family, guys. But here's the sad news. That may not be the team that's going to take you to bronze. And you got to be willing to move on. Now, you're not telling people to stay behind. It's their choice. But you got to be willing to move on. The team that takes you to bronze is not the team that takes you to gold. The team that takes you to gold is not the team that takes you to diamond. Isn't that right, Terry? You got to be willing to become emotionally detached. You got to be willing to move on. I mean, let's hope everybody goes on the journey with us, but the reality's not that. It's different. It's different. And what holds so many people back is they just can't let go of this little team that they've built. And you got to be willing to. You got to be willing to. Because the number one mistake made in this industry is spending too much time with the wrong people. Too much time with the wrong people. They're not bad people, but if you've got some serious goals for your business, you've got to surround yourself with like-minded, disciplined people who are going in the same direction. So be willing to move on. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me. I'm so excited about where we're going, and this compensation plan is a huge part of our next 5 years. Thank you.